Hey Glam fam, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you guys a flawless foundation routine that is full coverage but still looks like skin in person and lasts all day long. There's lots of different tips and tricks in here that you can customize to your own liking and your own skin type. Keep in mind that I have dry skin, but you can still work with it even if you have oily skin or combination skin. But I did add some tricks at the end that I recently discovered, and I give you a $1 million secret that you guys have to stay tuned to watch. If you guys want to learn how I got this flawless foundation, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I just washed my face. I have absolutely nothing on it, and as you can see, I have very dry, dehydrated skin. So first, I'm gonna be going into this Sephora Super Serum. It's their Ultra Glow Serum. It's just a sample size. I think I got this in my 100-point perk from Sephora. So I'm just squirting some into my hand. I'm gonna rub it in and then just gently pat it onto my face. So skin prep is the most important thing if you want to achieve a flawless foundation, because obviously foundation is only gonna look good on top of already smooth skin. You guys know your skin better than anybody else. You have to address all your skincare concerns. If you have acne, you might want to get that checked, see a dermatologist, incorporate a really good skincare routine. So you can see that it already brought in some moisture into my skin, but that's not enough. Using a serum alone is never enough, you guys. I can't stress that enough. You always need to lock in a serum with a moisturizer on top so that the serum can really sink into your skin. So now I'm gonna go into a cream. Two of my favorite creams at the moment are, one, the Body Shop Vitamin E Moisturizing Cream. The only thing about it is it's not that thick. It is kind of watery, I feel like, but it does set to your skin really fast, so it's good to use underneath makeup. My other favorite, which has actually been a long time favorite of mine, is the Cerave Moisturizing Cream. This is a really inexpensive cream. You can pick it up from your drugstore, Target, Walmart, whatever. So I think I'm gonna go into Cerave today because my skin is super dry lately. So I'm just gonna take about this much of the cream. And by the way, I'm not putting on any SPF or anything like that because I'm at home and I don't plan on going out today until later when the sun is gonna be down. I mean, if you're doing this for daytime and if you are concerned about SPF, then go ahead and use your favorite SPF moisturizer. And I'm even just gonna put a little bit of this onto my eyelid. And don't forget to get your neck too. Your neck is very important. Alright, now I'm going to be using Aquaphor. So I just recently started incorporating this into my skincare routine. This is just a regular Aquaphor healing ointment. So it's a thick balm, basically like Vaseline. So I'm literally going to use a small pea-sized amount of it, put some on my hand and rub it to make sure that it's warm. When you're doing skincare stuff, make sure you use your hands because the warmth of your hands is really going to stick that skincare stuff into your skin. As you can see, I'm just pressing this into my face and I'm focusing it more towards the outer areas because that's where I'm the driest. If you have oily skin, you can still do this. Just try to avoid putting it in the places where you are the oiliest. So like your T-zone is probably going to be the most oiliest part. Just naturally, that's where people sweat. I have the opposite problem. I actually am more dry in these areas, so I can go a little bit more heavy with this. If you have super oily skin and you want to just skip this step altogether, by all means go ahead. At this stage you can go in with your primer. Okay, so now I've got the balm on my face and my face is kind of sticky, which is going to help with the foundation sticking to my face. Now I'm going to move on to primer. So my favorite primer is the Body Shop Vitamin C Primer. So I'm just going to take a pump of that, rub it into my fingers and focus that a little bit more to my under eye area because of my bags. They kind of cave into my face, so I like to smooth that area over so that my concealer goes on more smooth. And then a little bit on my nose, my chin, my laugh line area where foundation tends to settle, my forehead. To be honest, I don't always wear primer before foundation just because sometimes I forget, and also depending on how my skin is acting that day. If my skin is being really dry, I don't need primer, I just need a lot of moisture, so I'll go in with a thicker moisturizing cream. Okay, so now because I just applied 4 different things to my face, I'm gonna wait a couple minutes so that this kind of sinks in, and then we're gonna move on to foundation. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and the moisturizer really sunk into my skin. Now I'm just going to move on to foundation. I'm taking the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This has quickly become one of my favorite foundations. It doesn't have a matte finish and it doesn't have a very dewy finish either. It's kind of in between, so I would call this a satin finish. I have used this in my videos previously. If you want to color correct anywhere that you have like hyperpigmentation and stuff, you can go ahead and do that at this stage. So like usually if I do color correct, I would do it around my mouth and like underneath my eyes, but I'm just gonna skip that and do it with the foundation. Alright, so first things first, I want to talk about a sponge. Okay, this is not the beauty blender like the original brand beauty blender. This is just a regular sponge that I ordered from Amazon. It's really good quality. You have to play around with what kind of sponges you like. I can leave the link for this in the description bar below. It comes in like a pack of 5 to 6 different sponges. You want to get this really wet and then squeeze out all the excess water. So like if you feel your sponge, it should be damp, but it shouldn't be soaking wet. And that's gonna give you the most natural finish of foundation. If you go in with a brush, you're gonna get those streaky lines. You can get rid of the streaky lines by obviously like going in over and over and kind of doing the same patting motions that you would with a sponge. I just find that it's a lot easier and foolproof to go in with a sponge rather than a brush. Make sure that when you are applying foundation, you are using a clean sponge. As you can see, there's no product on this sponge. It's not brand new. I just cleaned it before using it. If you use a sponge that has leftover product in the middle, your finish isn't going to be as nice because it's going to mix in with all that old product and you're basically just putting bacteria back on your face. So make sure you spend the time to clean your sponge. You're going to be wetting it anyway, so just take an extra 2-3 minutes, put some soap on it, and really wring it out and clean it before going in. Alright? So now I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna pump maybe 2 to 3 pumps on the butt of the sponge. You can also just apply the foundation with a brush and then go in and blend it with the sponge, but I find that this way is a lot quicker, just putting it on the butt and then going straight into blending. And I'm really working this foundation into my skin before going in with more. And the good thing about the sponge is that it picks up excess product, so there's no way that you can be dispersing so much product on your face that doesn't belong. It's always gonna look even wherever you apply it. So always take your foundation down your neck, and if your ears are a different color than your face, to your ears too. I don't always put it on my ears, so I'm just gonna tap some right now because my ears are a little bit red since I put in all my piercings today because I wanted to see if they were still open. Alright, so I only did the bottom half of my face. I'm gonna now apply maybe 2 more pumps. That might even be a lot, so I'm just gonna take my finger and kind of spread it into the sponge so I don't apply it in blobs all over my face. And just go ahead and apply it to this side some more. And then I didn't get my forehead yet, so I'm gonna get my forehead. Around my baby hairs. I did do my eyebrows before filming. So see, I didn't really need to do color correcting because this pretty much covered up all my hyperpigmentation anyway. Make sure you get these hard to reach areas around your nose. You can flip your sponge if you need to. You can see that I'm really working this foundation into my skin so that it pretty much becomes my skin. Alright, now I'm going to go into my concealer. I'm taking the Fenty concealer in the shade 300. I also have the Fenty concealer in the shade 290. So I use the 290 when I'm doing foundation because this is slightly lighter than 300. I use 300 when I don't wear foundation. So when I'm like on the go, I don't wear foundation, you guys. I don't wear foundation every single day. I don't even wear foundation sometimes on weekends. I mostly only wear foundation if I'm going out, if I'm making a video, or if I'm doing a really heavy makeup look. On the regular, I just stick to my skin tone shade concealer, which is this Fenty Beauty concealer in the shade 300. I'm going to show you this concealer today, which is in my shade, just because I want to use this glow wand afterwards. This is by Tarte. This is in the shade Dream. I got this from the Makeup by Mario Masterclass goodie bag, and it's actually a really interesting product. It's not a concealer. It's kind of like, if you guys are familiar with the MAC Prep and Prime, the highlighting pens, this is a highlighting pen. So I want to show you guys how I like to play with this product, which is why I'm going to use the concealer in my skin tone rather than the concealer which is lighter than me. I'm just going to take some and focus this more towards the inner area, the inner C's, because that's where most of my darkness comes from. And I'm also going to hit the chin area right here and a little bit on the sides of my mouth. And that's it, because I'm going to use the pen for the bridge of my nose and forehead. So let me go ahead and blend my chin out first and the sides of my mouth out first. So now you can see I'm using the pointed side of the sponge because I'm getting more detailed areas. And also, if I need to, if I feel like I applied a little bit too much concealer or anything like that, I can always flip my sponge to the foundation side just to help me blend it all out. Now I'm gonna blend out my eye area. And I'm also going to take whatever is left on the sponge up to my eyelids. And even my brow bone, because I didn't highlight my brow bone yet. And I have some leftover eyelash glue that stuck to my eyelashes. If you wait too long to blend it out and you find that it's getting hard to blend, you can always go in with like a makeup setting spray or any kind of spray. So I have here the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. I can always just spray my sponge with it and kind of squeeze it so you make sure that it's not oversaturated, and continue blending. Alright, now I'm going to go into the glow wand. There is a sponge on the end of this glow wand, but I can't get this to open. So I'm just going to use my regular sponge, but I need to open this one day. Alright, so I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand in the shade Dream. And I'm going to apply that a little bit lower near the apples of my cheek area, because that's where I want to catch the most light. And then down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, and then my Cupid's bow. Using the same sponge, the pointed side, I'm just going in and blending it out. And this is different than the concealer because it's more liquidy, so it's easier to blend. It doesn't have like a thick concealer type of consistency. I don't think it offers much coverage at all. I haven't used it on its own, but I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't cover dark circles just based off of how like luminescent it is. And you can see that instantly I have so much glow on the areas that I applied it, and I even dragged it upward, and you can see in this light that it has so much glow. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and set these areas. I have so many loose powders, you guys, but my favorite loose powder that I always go back and reach for is the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. It's not super matte. It has like again, a satin finish, so you guys will notice that I like to go for products with a satin finish because I feel like I have more control of if I want it to look matte or if I want it to be more dewy. So typically I like to be on the matte side, and then I add shine where I need it. But even with dry skin, I'm able to control the matte formulas just based off of the routine that I'm showing you guys today. So I'm going to go in with this loose powder and set all the areas where I concealed, so underneath my eyes, my chin, around my mouth, and my forehead area. You can also bake with this product. So if you don't like baking, if you don't want a matte finish, then you can skip baking and just go in with a small brush and set the areas that you would want to instead of baking. So this powder does have like a peachy tint to it, which helps with the whole brightening effect that I'm going for. So you want to make sure you don't have creases underneath your eyes before you set it. So make sure you tap that out with your sponge. And then I'm just going to use the same sponge, go into some of the powder, and just set. And the sides of my nose, and even the bridge of my nose, my forehead. Sometimes I do apply a lot of powder, but I'm feeling a more skin-like finish today, so I'm not gonna go overboard with the powder. And then the eye area, first I wanna use the butt to kind of buff out these creases and just get my lid. So this powder is light enough where you can set your whole face with it if you wanted to. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm only setting the areas like my pores and stuff because I don't want it to look too, you know, crazy. But this area right here, I'm gonna leave it. I don't wanna set that area. And I'm just softly swirling my brush into whatever's left in the cap that I poured out and brushing out the excess, and then I'm gonna further set my nose area and this under eye area. Okay. And now I'm just gonna set with whatever's left on this brush, where I'm gonna go in with a bronzer just so that it's easy to blend. So from like the contour to underneath the contour is where I'm applying this excess powder. Obviously, if you want this to be more long lasting, go extra with the powder and set everything. But I want to show you a more wearable, glowy way of doing it. And pro tip, if you guys are too lazy like me and you have your nose pierced, just take a Q-tip, lick it, and wipe that shit off. Alright, I'm just gonna move on to finishing up the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys the way that I like to highlight my face, and I'll show you my $1 million trick at the end, alright? Okay, so I went to Target the other day to pick up this Aquaphor healing ointment because my skin has been super dry lately and I needed something thicker, like a balm type of consistency to really smooth out the dryness of my skin. And I came across this Aquaphor body spray and I thought to myself, what if I set my makeup with this spray? So I actually tested that theory the other day just to see like how it would be, and I'm like rolling my sleeves up because it's about to get serious in here. I feel like it's a little bit too messy to set your face with. If you can tell, this is how it spritzes. Is that even a word? I'm not sure, but you guys get what I'm saying. It basically just leaves particles out that you would have to rub in. So I'm not sure how I would feel about setting my face with it. We can go ahead and try it because I want to show you guys the variation of how you can use this product. It's actually new because I've never seen this spray formula before. You don't have to do this if you don't want the dewy look, but let's go ahead and try to set our face with it. So I do feel a little bit sticky on my face, but I really like this finish that it's giving me. So I'm gonna go in with my highlighter. This is Oh Darling by MAC. Alright, so I am picking up some highlighter literally just on the tip of the brush. See, there's still like Aquaphor pieces in my hair. So that is something you have to keep in mind if you're gonna use the spray to set your makeup. I don't want to overdo it because I have like a really nice soft foundation look going on. And then same thing on the other side. I have like a breakout going on right there. Not sure why. It wasn't there yesterday. And I'm just taking some a little bit above my brow bone, down the bridge of my nose, and my cupid's bow. Because I had put down that Aquaphor spray first. So this is kind of setting on top of the stickiness. Alright, and now to really seal it all off and to give it that wet look, I'm going to take the Aquaphor spray again, and this time I'm going to spray my sponge with it and kind of dab it into my sponge. And my sponge is still slightly damp. And I'm going to go ahead and lightly pounce on top of the area that I just highlighted. I really like how natural and soft this looks. I don't know if it's translating that well on camera, but in person, this is probably like the most natural foundation that I've ever done. That's full coverage. Like, of course you can get a natural foundation look with like a sheer type of foundation. And that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. If you guys get the chance to, definitely pick up the Aquaphor Spray. This is a really cool invention, and I think that it's gonna elevate your makeup game. Even if you have oily skin, you can spray your sponge. You don't have to spray your face the way I did it first and after, and dab it on the areas where you want your highlight to look more pronounced. So of course, when you're applying a lot of powder, even with oily skin, you're getting rid of that natural moisture already. So you still should bring some of the moisture back, and I think this product is going to be really good for that. You can also just go in with your regular makeup setting mist, but I think that if you use something that's more sticky, it's going to give you that wet look without having to do much. I was thinking about using this just for skincare, and then when I came across the spray, I was like, you know what if I try this for my makeup? It's gonna take my makeup to a whole new level, and I'm actually really loving the results, and I hope you guys do too. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. You guys, it really helps me out, and it gives me a motivation boost to keep making videos like this. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.